Hey, Justin, welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you for having me. Excited to be here.
Yeah, tell us who you are, what you do.
Yeah, my name is Justin Rashidi. I am the CEO and co-founder of SeedX. At SeedX, I lead data, mainly marketing and data strategy, and oversee operations.
Yeah. And what got you into the agency space? Accidental or was this planned?
Yeah, 100% accidental. I always try to tell people that I didn't actually mean to start this company. I had a tutoring company before. So yeah, I don't know how far I should go back and tell everyone about myself, but yeah, I have like a traditional parents, it's like my dad immigrated from Iran. And so in these cultures, like you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're an engineer, right? Like everything else is like a
No.
failure. Like my whole life growing up, I didn't even think like being an entrepreneur was a thing. I never thought about starting a company. And I got waitlisted out of school in New York. I moved out there and I was tutoring and I had like a few clients or clients, like students.
hmm
They like aced their like SAT and it got me like a lot of business. And at this time, I was working with like very high, like earning professionals, people who own companies, hedge funds, like, yeah, executives of public companies. And so from being around them and then like this, I was like, oh, I should start this tutoring company. And it was really cool. Like actually, it didn't make that much money, but like I thought it made a ton of money when I was like 20. I was like, this is
hmm
awesome. And so I went from that to, oh, I like really going into business and thinking about like, oh, do I want to do business? This is so cool. Looking at like Silicon Valley and like all the different types of businesses that you can start. And so we got rid of that company. We like basically just sold off the clients. And I was just freelancing. Like I was like, oh, well, I have like all these skill sets now and making websites and doing this thing and doing that thing. And so we just started to take on like clients. And we took on one and then we had to hire like one person and then we took on another. We kept taking people on, having
Oh.
success. And it was like actually like we had like five people. And I like still didn't want to admit that I had a company. I was like, oh no, man, we're just doing that because I'm trying to explore these other things.
hmm
And then it kept growing, and eventually, I started the company with my girlfriend, now wife, and we're like, that thing that we keep ignoring, maybe we should like not ignore it anymore. Like we should actually be like more dedicated to turning it into a functional like organization. And that's actually how like I got here. Is kind of just like going through the market and solving problems and not thinking I had a company.
Yep. How long did it take you to get over the million mark?
Um, Good question. 3 years?
Okay. And did the skies open up and the unicorns come out when you hit over the million?
No, it was like some of the it's like the worst experience I think.
Yes.
Yeah, that they're at that level. It's like people think you're successful, but you don't have enough money to like really like invest in stuff yet. Like you
Yeah.
can't hire quality people. You can't do like anything almost. Like it feels cool and looks good on paper, and I think it's like one of those cool milestones. But yeah, in reality, it's like you have a small team. They're probably undertrained. Your processes like aren't as solid as they should be. You're still figuring out like pipeline. At least I was like
Yeah.
figuring these
No,
things out. And
that's how everybody is. Like getting to a million, you can do by accident.
yeah, I
And
kind of I think so.
right, like, but everyone looks at it like I got to get to the million mark. Like they think that everything's going to get easy after that. I'm like, no, it actually starts getting harder. Like you
Oh yeah,
start going into no man's land.
I think that a lot of companies try to sell at a million because like they realize, oh wow, like the jump from this
Yes.
level to the next level is like I always tell people like knowing what I know now, like going from like that level to the next level, I wouldn't do it again. Like because it caused me
Why?
so much. I we
But
I think I was in
what now that you know now that you could avoid?
okay, yeah, that's a good question. Okay, so the thing that I would have avoided is I would have actually grown slower. So like we grew like it was like slow and then fast, like to that point. And we were just like, oh, this is so cool. We're selling to these big clients. And like, you have like that high of like new.
Mhm.
And like what you don't know if you haven't done it before is that you really need to have like process in place in order to like actually like successfully keep the clients and onboard them and like make sure that they're a success. And You probably have a junior team at that point. So we had a more junior team. They aren't like capable of like expanding like at that rate.
They were
And
probably just
so,
the team doing the work, right? Not really kind of
yeah,
managing the client or managing the project.
yeah, we had like no account management at that point. Like, or like maybe one other person was like kind of assisting with like account management. And so what ended up happening is like I ended up just working. Like I ended up gaining like 50 pounds. Like I was working like day and night. Like because I was like, I don't know what to do because I also don't want to fire like our team and I want to retain this. And I put myself in a situation that was just horrible. Like it was like I had like no free time, no weekends. I didn't work out. Like I couldn't do anything. And in my mind, it was like some form of hell. And so, yeah, going back on it now, I would tell people like, hey, it's not like don't scale so quickly. Make sure the processes are good. Like you probably either need to. I didn't understand capital at the time, maybe as much. Like, hey, it's okay. Get loans, get capital, like get working capital. So you are not like neck to neck, even if you have like the cash flow coming in soon, like you still need like that capital. And
Yeah.
so maybe those are the two things I would recommend is like, yeah, make sure you have working capital and make sure that like you're not beaver about trying to like hit some growth goal.
Yeah. I always tell everybody get a line of credit when you don't need it. Because
Yeah.
when you need it, those fuckers disappear. Like the
Oh
banks
yeah.
won't
Or
touch you.
you get the interest rates that are like some like
Yeah.
it's like 100% interest on the loan or whatever.
Yeah.
It's
No,
insane.
like when things are good, show them your books. Be like, here you go. Look how fast we're growing. And take the biggest amount. And what I always tell everybody too about the line of credit, you don't have to take that out to start paying on it. It doesn't cost you anything.
It's just
What
insane.
Yeah, it just sits there. And what I would do, and what I found, because we never used it, but what I found, and I learned later on, is the bank is paying like an insurance premium on it or something like that. So it's costing them. So if they don't see activity on that account, they'll actually cancel it. So
Mm,
what I would do is I'd pull out 100K like for one day and put it back in, pay like $10, like,
you
you
need it.
know, just to show the activity, just in case, just that safety net.
Yeah. I mean, it's just how I don't know. Like when I think about myself, I'm like, would I have known to do that? Like how do people like, does everyone just
That's
have
why
to hit that?
that's why they listen to the podcast.
Yeah, they should listen and learn because I always think back, I'm like, I was so stupid. Like I made myself so, it was so difficult. And yeah, I guess parts of it could have been avoided, but it's still pretty difficult to grow your team. I think I had this realization, like, I think around that, like year 3, like when we're hitting these milestones, I was like, oh my God, I just feel like I got myself here. And now I feel like I have to get the rest of my team here now.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh my God, like that's a lot of work. Like I just got here. And now in order to grow more, you have to get the rest of your team on board and like growing to these levels as well. And I don't know if that's another one, like the importance of team in like these places and like,
Well, that the point that where you were, and I remember getting to that point as well. I was like, my gosh, man, like I grew this thing. It was maybe a $2 million agency at the time. And I'm like, I can't give it anymore. Like I've put everything into it. I can't figure out the how. And I was trying to figure out the how. And that was a mistake. I just needed to figure out where were we going and who could help us figure out the how and who wanted to be on that boat or that ship going in that direction. And when I was able to find those people and the people that I didn't have to manage, that was the other key, right? If I have to manage someone, I'm the worst manager because like the way I do things is very different than anybody else. Um, and like I'm going to think differently. And I presume everyone else is going to think like me. And that's not fair to everyone else. They may do things better or a different way. And, I'm kind of hindering them. Did you go through any of that?
yeah, 100%. I mean, it's hard. I've learned so much about hiring because like with an agency, you're forced to hire like much faster than in other types of like e-com or SaaS like types of companies, right? And so, yeah, I have learned about what makes a good employee, what makes a bad employee, like if you can hire entrepreneurs or if you can't hire entrepreneurs. And
What's your thought
yeah,
on that? Do you hire
I don't think you.
entrepreneurs or not?
No, I think no. I find that the entrepreneurs are unhireable. I just talked to someone and he's like, well, I kind of want this job because I want this, but actually I want to start this company. And I was like, dude, every time I've tried to hire someone who wants to start a company, like they leave like 6 months later, 6 to 12 months later, they're like, no, I really just got to do this. I was like, we had this conversation, man. Like you said, you're like that. You're not going
They're
to,
just playing you. Yeah.
yeah. It's like, it's very, very difficult to hire entrepreneurs. Like I like entrepreneurs. I like interacting with them. You can't hire them. And so, but
No.
once you find a team that like really, like they have standards for themselves, they want to improve processes themselves, you show them like the direction that you're going, right? And like you're communicating direction, then yeah, work gets so much easier because they can independently think and solve problems. And yeah, like you don't have to go solve every problem.
What was the level? Because we were talking a little bit kind of on the pre-show. You're at a level now that it's more comfortable. It's easier. You're enjoying it more. So we kind of just talked about like, kind of the no man's land. When did no man's land stop for you?
I don't know. It was a phase out. It was a slow phase. So it's kind
Mhm.
of hard to pinpoint one thing. Over the last like 2 years, like it's phased into like maybe the last 3 years, like it's phased every year into being easier.
Okay.
Uh, and so it wasn't really like one point in time from my perspective. It was this got easier, then this got easier, then this thing got easier. And it was the compounding of better operations, employees improving, and then hiring better, I think, plus having more capital and understanding like how a business functions all kind of progressed me into, I think, the state now where it's not necessarily easy, but it's much easier and enjoyable than, uh, like what we're talking about before.
What KPIs do you look at to make sure your company's doing well?
Um, from us, well, so every agency I think is different. For us, we focus a lot on contract retention and contract expansion. So I try to think about our company a lot like a SaaS company. And so like you see these SaaS companies and they're looking at like net revenue expansion for like their current customer base. For me and like our organization, I focus a lot on that. So like our ideal thing is like we want zero customer churn and we want increasing contract expansion. And if those two things are happening, then we actually have a very stable company. We don't have to continue. We aren't trying to bring on short-term clients. We're only focused on long-term clients where we see success with them over like forever, right? Like I would ideally want to work with this company forever. And so those are the core ones that we focus on. And then we focus on like profit margins and these different things. But generally you can like tease those ones together, right? Like if the success is happening, like you can always kind of tweak the rest to get it to work from
Yeah.
my perspective.
What profit margin percentage do you guys aim for?
Ideally we aim for 20%. But it fluctuates. Like it fluctuates between like 10 to 25% every month. Depends on different things. If like we're investing heavier into marketing or something. But yeah, 20% I think is like like a
Do you
good
find the
standard.
bigger you go, the harder it is to maintain the margin when you were smaller?
Ooh, wait, can you restate that question? It was
Like,
harder to maintain the margin when I was doing less
like
revenue.
some people, like I always tell them, as our agency grew, our margins grew as well. The margin percentage grew. And
Mhm.
people think the opposite. They go, "Oh, you're bigger, so you got more bills," because they're still thinking small and they're still charging the same amount in the very beginning, but they're having all these people to work for them. So, like, have you seen that your margins have kind of maintained, grew, or shrunk the bigger you get?
No, they've expanded. But I think from my perspective, they've also expanded. One, because like we understand like the hours that go into scope, so we're better at scoping. But two, every year we're also trying to grow up market more. So like
Mhm.
instead of working with this size company, we're working at the next size company. And at that point, like it gets easier to like actually charge like really great pricing. And so yeah, we personally have experienced margin expansion as we have grown, but I think it's it's from those two things. Like one, we know how to scope correctly. And then two, like we are working with a customer that will actually pay correctly. Right. But
Yeah.
they only pay correctly because we have all the experience of like growing through the small client base.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, you got to go through a ton of thorns in order to make it to the other side and try a bunch of different things and really kind of earn your stripes on scoping work. You know,
Oh yeah.
for years and years, you're going to scope it the wrong way, but you got to make sure you're like constantly looking at like, which are the most profitable clients I have? Which are the ones I'm losing money on? Where are my profit leaks? You know, like, am I not charging enough, or how do I avoid scope creep altogether? But you got to be looking at the numbers. When did you really start looking at the numbers? Like, are you like me? Like, I used to look at QuickBooks or any of the reports my team would send to me. I'd be like, I don't understand any of this.
uh no, I don't think so. I look at it at least once a month.
Okay.
So once a month I have like a bookkeeper, and she's really good. Like we have like a really like tight like bookkeeping system where like everything is it's categorized like real like, and we're like working to always categorize it correctly. Uh, at that point, like I understood like what our gross margin is, like how our gross, like how I should think about gross margin. Um, and then more and more, I was like, what's a good net margin? And I kind of evolved into it. Like I didn't,
Yeah.
I don't know. It just kind of happened, but I liked it. I wasn't like you. I enjoyed it.
You like the
Like,
numbers.
yeah, I do. I do like, I'm kind of like, yeah, I guess I am more like into it. Like we track the time into a project management software,
Mhm.
and then like we're reverse engineering like the time plus estimates plus leakage to
True.
figure out like like how like what we should have scoped versus like what we did scope, right? And doing like a post analysis on that. And that's more recent, like in the last 18 months that we're like doing like that even
Well,
better, I
that
think.
makes a huge difference. I mean,
Oh
you're,
yeah.
you're, I tell everybody, excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. You got to lead your company based on numbers and make decisions based on the numbers. I was just my brain, whenever I had to go into QuickBooks, I would always be like, I can't do it.
For me, the hard part actually wasn't like the going into QuickBooks. It was I always had like issues with leadership, more so like I felt weird telling like to have my team track time. I kept telling them like, guys, that we're doing this to like help make the business healthier.
Oh, that was
And
easy.
like
That was easy for me. I'd just be like, I'm not going to pay you if you don't track your work.
yeah.
And I would tell them, I go, look, I'm not trying to do this to make sure that you're working. I'm trying to make sure that we're not losing money, because when I actually started tracking time and really looking at the numbers, we were losing money on like 60% of our engagements. We were still profitable. So I was like, man, if we could take that and kind of like what you're saying, kind of like do a deep dive and a debrief after all this, when we fixed it, we were at 40% margins.
Oh yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it was
It's great.
it was huge.
And the crazy part is like if you're already running profitably, so like we also had this too where like we were like 3 years ago or something, like it's like, oh, we have 10% margins or something. But I was like, we have all these contracts, and now that we're looking at the hours, like we should be charging X. And like actually you can go back to the clients and charge that. And then all that just drops to the bottom line because like you're already running like operationally correct, right? And the time is already committed and all these things. And so
Yeah.
you can just go back and negotiate with the clients, and they'll drop to the bottom line.
Yeah.
And like it's like a magic $30,000 shows up. You're like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah. We had a mastermind member. He was charging about double increased versus his old clients, his legacy clients. And I said, man, the opportunity cost is huge. You got to go back to them and say, look, I can't do this anymore. And we fully expected like half of them would say, like, go away. Other half would say yes. So basically, you're making the same amount, but you're working less.
Afterward.
All of them said yes, which was like an extra like 900,000 a year just by
Yeah,
raising your
yeah,
prices
raising
to the
price.
legacy clients. Like it was like, it was a huge win for him. And he was like, oh my God. Like, and then he sold maybe like a year later because they were so profitable.
Yeah. It's crazy once you start tracking that and you realize how profitable or unprofitable you are, and then like really fighting to actually charge correctly.
Yeah.
And then you don't like. I think I don't know. Like I think when you're young, when you're just starting out, like you're more price, like, oh, I don't know, like I can't get this price. I can't get this price. And like growing out of that, to be like, no, I just need to charge this price. And like, if I don't care about anyone who's trying to undercut me, because the person who's undercutting us, like they will eventually go out of business, and that client will return back into market and then they'll know they have to pay at the right price.
Yeah, you don't want to win the race to the bottom.
No,
What helped me with that is I'd have an asshole prospect coming to me, and I'd give them kind of the FU number, and then they'd say yes. I'm like, oh crap, like someone will pay that. And then we were able to deliver it, and then we're like, all right, let's do that for everybody else. Well,
yeah, raise prices.
Justin, this has all been fun. Is there anything I didn't ask you that you think would benefit the listeners listening in?
No, only question. Let me see here. No, I think, just keep grinding and learning and like improving and have faith, I guess. Right? Like
awesome. Well, thanks so much for coming on the show. And if you are, obviously, if you're not like Justin, if you're like me, and you struggle with really kind of trying to figure out the numbers and just interpret what's going on in the agency and QuickBooks, I want you to check out a really cool tool called AskQuick.ai. It's AskQuick.ai. It's an AI CFO that looks and connects really easily to your QuickBooks account and tells you everything you need to do, from cash forecasting, which are your most profitable clients, do you need to raise pricing, all of that. Go there now. And until next time, have a swank day. I hope you enjoyed this content. If you want more content like this, make sure you click on the link on the screen or check out your most popular podcast platform where the full episode is there. And until next time, have a swank day. What are you doing? Go check it out. Click on the link. I'll see you soon.